Good evening. Let me welcome you. Our friends are equipped with their microphones. My name is Bill Kelly. I'm the president of the CUNY Graduate Center. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the first event of this year's Great Issues Forum. The forum, as many of you know, is a central element of the Graduate Center's public programming. It's funded by the Carnegie Corporation of New York and by the Leopold Gellert Family Charitable Trust, the Winston Foundation, and the Vital Projects Fund. We're very grateful for the support of those generous friends. Each year, the forum seeks to explore critical issues of our day through a single thematic lens. Last year, we focused on power and welcomed a wide range of eminent speakers, including Tom Stoppard, Derek Walcott, Nicholas Kristof, Zbigniew Brzezinski, Mary Robinson, Joseph Stiglitz, and Naomi Klein. This year, the Great Issues Forum's theme is religion. In a series of conversations involving prominent religious leaders, scientists, philosophers, we will examine fundamental questions about the nature of religion and of secularity. Fall programs will explore the future of religion in the light of its evolutionary past. In the spring, our focus will be directed toward Islam. Many of our events, including this evening's, are filmed and included on our website at greatissuesforum.org. We invite you to visit that venue. I'd now like to introduce this evening's distinguished panelists, and distinguished they are. Daniel C. Dennett, his university professor, and Austin B. Fletcher, professor of philosophy and co-director of the Center for Cognitive Studies at Tufts University. One of the world's most influential philosophers, Professor Dennett is best known for his argument that human consciousness and free will proceed from physical processes in the brain. He is a recipient of 2 Guggenheim Fellowships, a Fulbright Award, and a fellowship at the Center for Advanced Studies in Behavioral Science. He was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1987. A prolific scholar, Professor Dennett's books include, as I'm sure most of you know, The Mind's Eye, Consciousness Explained, Darwin's Dangerous Idea, and Breaking the Spell, Religion as a Natural Phenomenon. John Haught is currently senior research fellow at the Woodstock Theological Center at Georgetown University, where he was formerly chair and professor in the Department of Theology. His area of specialization is systematic theology, with a particular interest in issues pertaining to science, cosmology, evolution, ecology, and religion. His many books include Is Nature Enough? Meaning and Truth in the Age of Science, God After Darwin, The Theology of Evolution, and Making Sense of Evolution, Darwin, God, and the Drama of Life, which is forthcoming in 2010. In addition to his many books, Professor Haught is the author of numerous essays and reviews. In 2002, he was the winner of the Owen Garrigan Award in Science and Religion. In 2004, he received the Sophia Award for Theological Excellence. In 2008, he was given a Friend of Darwin Award. Man, how great would that be to receive a Friend of Darwin Award by the National Center for Science Education. In 2009, in recognition of his work on theology and science, he was awarded an honorary degree by the University of Louvain, one of the great universities of the world, one of my favorite places in the world. Gustav Niebuhr, our moderator for this evening, and we're so grateful to him for taking on this task, pleasurable as it promises to be, is Associate Professor of Religion and the Media at Syracuse. He is based in the Newhouse School of Public Communications and has an appointment in the College of Arts and Sciences Religion Department. He is director of the Religion and Society Program and founding director of the Carnegie Religion and Media Program. In 2002-2003, he was scholar in residence at Princeton University's Center for the Study of Religion. Previously worked as a reporter at the Times, earlier than that at the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. He is the author of Beyond Tolerance, Searching for Interfaith Understanding in America. He is, and I think most of you probably know this as well, a regular contributor to the On Faith blog at WashingtonPost.com and at Newsweek.com. David Sloan Wilson is Distinguished Professor of Biology and Anthropology at Binghamton University, where he directs EVOS, a campus-wide evolutionary studies program. He's widely recognized as a champion of multi-level selection, theoretical perspective with deep implications for everything from the origin of life to the nature of religion. His books include Darwin's Cathedral, Evolution, Religion, and the Nature of Society, and Evolution for Everyone, How Darwin's Theory Can Change the Way We Think About Our Lives. His forthcoming book is titled Evolving the City. An evolutionist contemplates changing the world one city at a time. I just learned that evolving the city is one interest, revolving in the city another. Professor Wilson explained that he spent the afternoon ice skating at Bryant Park. I was delighted by that choice of activity in the afternoon. I'm thrilled to be in the room with these gentlemen, and I'm anxious to hear their conversation. So with no further ado, Professor Niebuhr, the floor is yours. Thank you all for being with us this evening.
Well, thank you very much, President Kelly, for that welcome. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to the audience. We have a vast topic tonight and a relatively short amount of time. Let me tell you in brief what I will do. I have a series of rather broad and open-ended questions which I will put to our panelists, naming an individual one to go first. But before that, it's been my experience as a journalist, a former journalist, that it is useful if we lay out and describe to the best of our ability certain essential terms. It never hurts, I think, to state the obvious, just so that we're all clear in one way or another about some of the ideas with which we'll be dealing. And so I'm going to ask each one of our panelists tonight no more than 3 minutes just to take on a topic and give it a definition. Let me start with Dr. Wilson and ask if you would speak to natural selection.
I wrote some comments down to be concise in my 3 minutes. So natural selection is like a recipe with 3 ingredients. We begin with differences. That's ingredient number 1. Those differences need to make a difference in terms of survival and reproduction. That's ingredient number 2. And then the third ingredient is heritability, offspring resembling their parents. And that's like a yeast that makes the recipe come to life. The outcome is adaptations, traits that enable organisms to survive and reproduce in their environments. And 2 additional points will get us to the study of religion. First, natural selection is a multi-level process so that groups can become adapted to their environments when certain conditions are met, in addition to individuals. And secondly, evolution takes place at the cultural level in addition to the genetic level. So there can be cultural evolution in addition to genetic evolution. And so when we put all these things together, we have a powerful framework for thinking about religion from an evolutionary perspective. And this perspective gives us not 1, but 6 different plausible conceptions of religion. A given element of religion can be an adaptation or not. If it is an adaptation, it could be good for the group, good for the individual compared to other individuals within the same group, or good for the cultural trait without being good for either individuals or groups. If it's not an adaptation, it might have been adaptive in the past, but not present environments. It could be a byproduct of another adaptation, or it could be just plain neutral. In other words, a difference that doesn't make a difference. And so the challenge for the evolutionist studying religion is to figure out which of these major hypotheses, or which combination, explains any given element of religion.
Thank you, and I think that's an example of what one can do in 3 minutes. Dr. Haught, what might the term religion mean?
Someone once compared this formal theoretical study of religion to ants crawling around on the outside of a goldfish bowl, making measurements of the fish and charting its movements and so forth, and being very clever about all that, but not having the slightest idea about what it's like to be a fish inside the fish bowl. And I think in many ways the scientific study of, not only the scientific study of religion, but also the theological study of religion is like that, in a sense. It's not really going to tell us too much about what is concretely going on in there. Nevertheless, let me try anyway to give a very fragmentary and unsatisfactory description. I hesitate to use the word definition, but I understand religions to be the most important ways in which human beings on our planet for the last 50,000 years or so at least have sought reassurance